Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Everything Kratom, the podcast about anything and everything Kratom. Great to have you with us on this Friday morning. Welcome to the end of the week. Glad that you got here safe and sound. So today, I wanted to talk about confidence. Confidence with relation to Kratom. And more specifically, that there are two different ways that I myself think about confidence with relation to Kratom and how Kratom affects me, but also how my confidence affects Kratom affecting me. So that's what I want to get into here. So there are two different ways I think about this. I'm going to go through both. Here's the first one. The first one is this: the way Kratom helps my confidence in certain situations. And then the second one, which I'll go into afterwards, how my confidence can sometimes affect how Kratom affects me. So here's the first way. First way, the way Kratom helps my confidence in certain situations. Well, I have to say, for starters, that it's very intertwined with anxiety, and but not entirely. But I have to say that it's hard to be confident. This is all, of course, my own self-experience. I'm not talking about anybody else but me. It's hard for me to be confident if I have anxiety. I guess I can do both, but the two are very closely intertwined in a lot of ways. And the fact that Kratom can help take away some of my anxiety around different situations really, really opens up the door for the confidence that is possible, but it does not determine the confidence level or that I will feel confident. And so that's why I also say that they're not completely intertwined, bound together forever, that they're not 100% the same thing. But one way that I do find that my confidence level is increased in different situations is that Kratom does take away my anxiety. This is more like leading up to whatever it is that I want to be confident about. So for example, if I'm talking about my job, I have to present at board meetings at least a few times a year. And that can be absolutely nerve-wracking, and I definitely can get anxiety around that. So I will often find that Kratom helps take away a lot of the anxiety that I'm feeling leading up to the board meeting. And that in turn helps in a number of ways, one of which is that if I'm not feeling anxious, I can prepare for the board meeting, and I prepare a lot better. So when I'm going to the actual meeting that day, I've prepared better. So it's also, it's not just like Kratom directly helps with confidence. It also helps eliminate some barriers leading up to that level of confidence that I'm trying to reach. So that's one way that it helps. Then, in a different situation, and this is just around anxiety still, if I'm talking about a social situation, then I guess it's a little more directly linked. I don't want to feel anxious in a social situation. Kratom definitely helps limit the amount of anxiety that I might be feeling. I think over time I've been getting better about anxiety in social situations, and I think that has a lot to do with just my own personal growth. And, I guess the simple way of putting it, I'm learning that I don't care about what other people think of me more and more every year. So, that's a good thing and a bad thing, but that's kind of what direction I've been headed recently. So it's helped, it's helped that I've been working on this on my own, but then Kratom also does play a role, and it can really help me have those experiences of being in a social situation and have a good time. And I feel comfortable, and the Kratom helps me feel comfortable in that situation. And since I've had that experience, it makes it more possible or easier, in my opinion, to have that experience again without Kratom later on. So that is another aspect. Now, taking anxiety out of it, let's talk about Kratom directly affecting confidence for me. So I have definitely found that Kratom can affect my confidence directly. By that, I mean that I actually take Kratom and become more confident as a result of the Kratom. And so an example of that would be probably along the lines of some of the more, useful green varieties of Kratom that I take, like green Mang Da, green Malay, and then also maybe green Thai, and then also a few of the whites that I take for motivation and energy. Not just energy though. So I would say like maybe white Indo, white Thai, white Malay actually too. I don't mention that one as much, but that one actually fits this category. So these are all types of kratom that, whether it's green or white, they help with my motivation, energy, and some of them help with mood. And all of those things are, for me, related to my confidence level. Like if I'm in a sad mood, I won't necessarily be not confident, but I feel like I'm more likely to not be confident if I'm sad. Or if I don't have motivation to do something that day, I am probably less likely going to be confident about anything I'm doing that day because I don't have this fire under me, you know? Like I feel like I need a fire under me to be confident. And maybe that's different with other people. That's something I hadn't thought about before until saying it out loud just now, but that's really interesting. This podcast helps me learn about myself so much. You have no idea. That's fascinating. So I require some sort of fire being lit under my belly to actually feel like the full force confidence that I'm sometimes seeking. I'm not always seeking all the confidence in the world, but I definitely wish that I had more, and I'm learning how to manifest that myself. So this is kind of a journey for me, but this is interesting. So what I'm realizing is when I take kratom that gives me motivation, it doesn't necessarily have to give me energy, but motivation to do anything, that's helping light a fire. And that fire instills confidence in me because it's like, not only do I want this thing to be accomplished, but like I'm ready to accomplish it. And that in and of itself is confidence. So confidence and motivation maybe are two things that kind of go together for me. So that's interesting to think about. Let's see, another example where it helps. This is a smaller example, but when it comes to things that I enjoy, like playing guitar, playing piano, reading, even doing like a Sudoku on the back porch in the summer, like all these things, I love doing all those things. And if I'm trying to learn a new song on guitar or piano, taking a nice red Thai in particular, that's always the one I bring up, but also red Malay. I think the Malays are all very helpful for confidence for me, actually. It's another thing I'm just realizing. Taking one of those two makes me more confident when it comes to learning a song on guitar or on piano. It makes me feel like I can do it. It's not necessarily the motivation, because I don't get motivated from those, but it kind of sets me in the headspace, the environment, the mood. It makes my body feel like I'm ready to learn something. It makes my fingers more nimble, more, I don't know, they're going to move smoother across the piano than if I didn't take a red type of kratom. So that's something else that I'm finding recently that seems to, show that kratom helps with my confidence level. When it comes to the reading or Sudoku, those things I don't need as much confidence for, but sometimes, I'm like, I'm never going to get done with this book. And it's not like a motivation issue. It's just like, I don't know. There's some sort of thing that blocks me sometimes from reading, even though I really want to read. I think that has to do a lot with just the digital age we're in. There's so many other things you can be doing and yada yada. It's like my attention span is, I was born in 1993. So like I was right on the cusp of normal social situations and then the completely destroyed social situations that everybody's growing up with now. So it's like I got to kind of see the end of normal socializing as we know it happen in front of me. I was the last one of my friends to get a smartphone, and it was like watching all my friends just slowly look down over the years, and I was the only one looking around, like doing nothing when waiting for the bus, stuff like that. Oh man, totally other topics for other conversations, but who cares? It's Friday. I'm letting it flood out today. So anyway, long story short, I definitely find that it's easier for me to read, in part because it helps with my confidence level. It makes me think, you know what? I'm really going to read this book because I want to. And even though I'm distracted by other things, I'm not going to go for it. That bait is not going to catch me. So anyway, there's some food for thought. Now, moving into the other aspect, the number 2 of this episode, which is the other side of confidence and Kratom for me. How does my confidence affect how Kratom affects me? This is something that I think is a fascinating topic because oftentimes I'm thinking about it the first way. How does Kratom help my confidence? But today I was walking down the street towards my office. It was really early. No one was outside yet. It was on Main Street in the small town that I'm in. And I don't know, it was a peaceful time in the morning. But I'm walking to my office and I realized that I was kind of slouched the way that I was walking. And I was like, why am I slouched right now? Like, why is my back arched over a little bit? Like, why am I doing this? I should be confident. I should be standing tall. I should have my head up more, like, why is this my default? So I made myself kind of stop walking and stand up straight. Thankfully, since obviously I wasn't starting the day off with all the confidence of the world, no one was around to see me, try to muster it. Chicken in the egg there. But thankfully no one was out. So I was able to just do this. So I stopped walking. I straightened myself up. I held my head up high, and I made my posture good. My grammar isn't that great, but my posture, there you go. So I made my posture, a bit better. And then I continued walking. And it's such a little thing, but I swear to God, it changed everything. It changed the way my whole day started. It's not even a fake it till you make it thing. There's something that's evolutionary about standing tall. And I really do mean that because you see it throughout all the animal kingdom. If two animals, mainly mammals I'm thinking of, are fighting over territory, for instance, you make yourself tall and whoever wins is going to stay tall and the other one cowers down a bit to show that they're not a threat anymore. Well, the same thing goes for humans, I think. I mean, I would make that argument. If I'm bent over a bit, it's like I'm showing I'm not a threat. And that's not necessarily the exact equivalence of what I'm trying to get at, but, it's also kind of a signal that I'm not as confident as I could be, versus if I'm standing straight up and tall, it's like, yeah, I just won, I just won, and this is my place, So it's not like I'm saying that about the actual place I'm in, but it's more like, today's my day. Today's my day. I'm not gonna cower to today. I'm going to make today cower to me. So basically, this is everything that went through my crazy little head as I was walking to my office this morning on Main Street. And when I got to my office, I took my Kratom in the morning. And the Kratom that I took was white Borneo, and it had the most crazy effect. It had the same effects it always does for me, but it was so much more in tune with how I was feeling. I wouldn't say that it was stronger, and I didn't take more than usual or less. It was average, like 2 grams. It wasn't that it was a stronger effect, and it wasn't like a heightened Kratom effect because I was sitting upright, like I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that confidence that I instilled in myself just by like making myself have good posture, walk down the street, be like, I'm going to own today. It's Friday. Today's my day. Just by doing that, the Kratom, it kind of like, it was sinking in perfectly with how I was already thinking about today. So it just further bolstered. It was almost just like a reinforcement. It was almost like, and this is how I'm still feeling now, it's been an hour, it feels like it's not even trying to take the show away from me or steal the show. It's like, no, you've got it. You've got today. We'll be here for what you need, but you've got it, So I almost feel like the Kratom is secondary to my feeling of confidence. And in a way, that's really neat because it's making me think, okay, well, maybe I don't need as much Kratom today. Or, my other thought is, well, maybe this same amount of Kratom is fine. And I am just, able to also enjoy the benefits of my own instilled confidence in addition to the Kratom. And what I'm finding so far is that I feel so much more myself and optimistic and just everything is right with the world. And it's like, it's that feeling that I can't quite get from Kratom on its own. Kratom definitely helps me with my mood and everything and optimism. And I've talked about that a lot. But what this confidence instillment, if you want to call it that, did for me today was that it made it so that the Kratom, once it really kicked in, it was almost like, okay, that's the other missing piece to my day this morning, and that's going to help with this and this and motivation or whatever. But like that and the confidence, it's almost like I took both of them and they're working together really well. And now I am exactly where I want to be, and all is right with the world, and let's do this. So I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at here. I know it's a bit of a rant, but I hope I'm getting my point across. It's just really neat that Kratom can affect my confidence level, but my confidence level can affect Kratom. It's basically like, instead of the Kratom helping me get to work this morning and driving me, it's like it's helping me with those things, but I'm driving the car. Does that make sense? I'm kind of realizing how Kratom can drive the day for me, and that's fine, but that maybe I don't want it to drive the day for me every time that I do take Kratom. I should drive too. And Kratom can be in the passenger seat, and it's still helping me in all the ways that it would. Like, for instance, I might not have as much motivation as I, do right now because of the Kratom, and it's definitely helping with energy levels. Like, that's what I want to get out of Kratom, but it's not driving the car. I'm driving the car. So I just feel like it's a more complete experience when I'm feeling confident with Kratom than when I'm not. But if I'm taking Kratom to help with confidence, it can help with confidence. And in that way, I still reach the same place at the end of the day. That would be my mic drop, I guess. That's what I'm trying to get at here. It's two different ways of thinking about it. And basically, it's like, when I'm taking Kratom, do I have confidence or do I not? And if I don't, is this going to help me get it? If I do have confidence, is this going to help me with everything I want to do today in the way that I want it to, because I'm driving this car today? So that's an interesting little introspective thing, I guess. But overall, I'm feeling great today. I'm so excited. I'm confident. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. And I hope that you feel this way too. Take a second right now. Here I am. It's like I'm an 80s motivational tape. Sit in your chair or stand or whatever you're doing right now. See if you're slouching. And if you are, all you got to do, straighten yourself up. Yep, straighten yourself up. Lift your chin. Make it so that you're just looking straight ahead and just be like, I am going to own today. This is my day. And even if you're listening to this at night and there's 1 hour left in the day, you're going to own this last hour. So whatever situation you're in, you can do it. Not only can you do it, you're going to do it. You're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine. You're going to own it. So there's your little 80s motivational tape. Switch to side B. Okay, now you're all sick of me. I'm going to go. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be confident, be optimistic, all of those things. We will be back on Monday morning. All right, take it easy, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.